Well, I got to tell you, Esther, thanks for having me once again. The vote counting was intense. I'm watching some of those images, and I was right there at one of them. I spent about 3.5 to 4 hours at a school, one of the secondary schools where I was at in the morning during voting. But yes, I'm saying it was intense for me, certainly, when I was in one of the rooms. At some point, they take all the ballot boxes, they count them, and there were about 275 in that particular ballot box. So then they close it, they seal it, and then they reopen it. Then they start reading, doing the tallies. And once they did all the tallies, one by one, think about it, it's 275 just in one room. And then they call them one by one, and they do all the tallies and then they come up with a number for each of them for the four candidates, at least for the presidential. Once they did the total of that, there was, it came up to 276. So basically, there was one vote that was not there. And I got to tell you, they had to start all over again. They had all the piles from Chapo to Venancio to Simango and Osufo Mamad, and they had to redo all of them one by one and, counting them all over again. And I ended up getting home very late and filing, but I talked to some other international observers who told me they were there until 1:30 or 2 o'clock in certain cases.
Now, Mariam, I'm going to ask you a double question here, so we're going to try to make it concise. What are you hearing from the opposition candidates so far? And again, what kind of challenges await whichever party wins this election?
Well, I think, for example, Simango voted at one polling station, and I remember after he finished voting, he complained. His complaints were that not enough of his people were accredited to actually observe the rest of the electoral process, meaning, counting votes. I think Venancio, who voted at a different station, also had some other complaints, maybe similar to that. But he also had another complaint talking about his parliamentary kind of coalition and where they stood in their numbers. That got switched at some point. And I think the National Electoral Commission actually did give some reasons why that was done. To move up to the next question about, what awaits the next leader of this country, I think just twofold. You talk about, the economy. Some of them talk about jobs. Some of them talk about education, infrastructure improvement. But on the other side, I think the biggest one that is very important is what's happening in the Cabo Delgado area, which is the oil and gas-rich area, which is very connected to the economy. Because if companies can invest in there, if companies can't make money, basically the government won't be able, the country can't make money. So in that case, you can't create jobs, you can't improve the economy. So that's why I think one of the key priorities for at least Chapo, he talked about that if he won, he would make sure that area is secure.